All right, let's get into it. Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating, a quiet but really powerful shift happening all over India. We're calling it the Great Indian Pleasure Quest. And this quote right here from a 25-year-old named Garima just says it all, doesn't it? The best birthday present I have given myself. That's not just about a product, it's this powerful statement of self-discovery. And honestly, we're hearing this kind of thing more and more.
So that really sets up the big question for us today. What's really behind this quiet revolution that's happening in bedrooms across India? What's driving this massive change?
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this revolution, you first have to understand the problem it's trying to solve. And it all starts with something called the orgasm gap.
26%. So what is that? Well, according to the surveys we looked at, that's the percentage of Indian women who say they almost always have an orgasm during sex. Just 26%. That's a huge gap, right? And that single number, it really sets the stage for everything we're going to talk about.
And you know, this isn't just about the physical act. It runs way deeper. It's cultural. For generations, female pleasure has kind of been an afterthought, It just wasn't the priority. And that silence, that cultural quiet, it led a lot of women to feel confused and even start doubting themselves.
Yeah, exactly like this. This quote from a 28-year-old named AP just hits so hard. I thought there was something wrong with me. See, it wasn't just about not having pleasure. She felt like she was the problem, that something was broken inside her. And if you want to understand this whole movement, you have to understand that feeling.
So you've got this long-standing cultural issue. What could possibly shake that up? Well, the big catalyst for change, it didn't come with a bang. It came quietly, through a screen. We're talking about the internet.
And this chart here really lays out the before and after perfectly. Think about it. Before the internet, buying something like this meant going to a public shop, feeling judged, dealing with sketchy gray market stuff. The internet just completely flipped the script. Now you've got privacy, you've got information at your fingertips, and the best part? A discreet little box shows up at your door. Game-changing.
And don't think this is some tiny, hidden corner of the internet. We are talking about a huge digital marketplace now. There are over 50 e-commerce sites selling sexual wellness products in India. We're talking big names, even Amazon. So yeah, the secret is definitely out.
So, we've talked about how this is happening. Now let's get into the what, because this is about so much more than just clicking buy. For many, it's a really personal journey.
And we're back to AP again, and I just love this quote. She named her vibrator Zeus. That's brilliant. It's funny, right? But it also perfectly explains the huge leap in the kind of experience we're talking about. It's not about replacing something you can do with your hands. It's about unlocking a whole new world of pleasure. And it's not just stories like AP's. The data absolutely backs this up. Just look at this. Between 2018 and 2019, that's just 1 year. Online searches for sex toys by Indian women jumped by almost 50%. That's not a slow trend. That's a floodgate bursting open. And this is maybe the most important takeaway. It's not just about the orgasm. It's really about empowerment. It's about women finally getting the chance to understand their own bodies, figure out what they actually like, and then own that knowledge for themselves.
But this personal journey of self-discovery, it doesn't just stay personal. It starts to ripple out, and it's having a really fascinating effect on relationships too.
I think this quote from Daisy, a pastry chef, just nails it. There's less pressure on him and also more power to me. See? It's not about replacing a partner at all. It's about changing the dynamic. It takes all the pressure off of one person, and it gives the other person more agency, more power in the situation.
And our sources actually point to this really cool 3-step ripple effect. So first, communication gets better because women can now say, hey, this is what I like. Then second, it becomes a new tool for couples to explore things together. And what's really interesting is the third step. It actually starts to break down taboos for men too, and suddenly you have a more open conversation about pleasure for everybody involved.
Okay, but this is where the story takes a turn and gets, well, complicated. Because while this whole revolution is happening online and in private, legally, it's stuck in this really strange, really confusing gray area. You've got this legal maze to navigate. So on one side, you've got old laws against selling obscene things. And these laws are being used to seize millions and millions of rupees worth of these products. But on the other side, there's no actual law that says sex toys are illegal. The whole problem is that word obscene. Nobody's defined what it actually means, so it's just this huge, messy gray area. And all this legal confusion, it just feeds into a lot of myths and misunderstandings. So let's just do a quick myth-busting round based on what our sources say. First big question, can a vibrator actually replace a partner?
The answer is a hard no. All the sources we looked at are crystal clear on this. A device can give you physical pleasure, sure, but it can't give you emotional connection. It can't give you love or support. That's what a human partner is for.
All right, next myth. If a woman uses a toy, does that mean her male partner is, incapable or has somehow failed? And again, a big no. The way the sources talk about it is that it's an addition, not a criticism. It's about adding something new and different to the mix, not about saying a partner isn't good enough. It's about variety. Okay, so let's put all of this together. We have the cultural shift, the technology, the legal confusion. Where is this all going? What does the future of pleasure in India look like?
And that brings us to our final big idea. What we're seeing is this incredible grassroots movement. It's millions of women reclaiming their own pleasure, all powered by technology and a deep desire for empowerment. So really, the question isn't if things are changing anymore. They clearly are. The real question is, how long will it take for everything else, the laws, the culture, even our relationships, to catch up?